What's crackin', Eggheads? This is Ashleigh, founder of the indie educational video game studio Electric Egghead, and I am in the 5th month of Thomas Brush's Start a Game Studio in 12 Months challenge. I'm on day 6 and learning code. I'm learning the basics of C++. If you want to join in on the fun, you can go to the hashtag 12 Months Game Studio or join the Discord link. So it's February 6th, 2020, and that means it is Black History Month. So I'll be adding little snippets of our Black historical figures to show you about our history and to show you how we've contributed to the world and how these people have contributed to our community. So today I'll be telling you about Benjamin Singleton. Benjamin Singleton was born in 1809, and he was known as Pap, so Benjamin Pap Singleton. He was an American activist and businessman, best known for his role in establishing African American settlements in Kansas. He was held in slavery in Tennessee, and he escaped to freedom in 1846 and became a noted abolitionist, community leader, and spokesman for African American civil rights. He returned to Tennessee during the Union occupation in 1862, but then he concluded that blacks would never achieve economic equality in the white-dominated South. So, after the end of Reconstruction, Benjamin Singleton organized the movement of thousands of black colonists known as exodusters to found settlements in Kansas. He was a prominent early voice for black nationalism, and he became involved in promoting and coordinating black-owned businesses in Kansas, and developed an interest in the Back to Africa movement. So thank you so much for Benjamin Singleton for fighting for our equality and fighting for our independence. So thank you so much for that. Alright, so today I'm going to go over to my Visual Studio and we'll be learning about classes and objects. But before I do all that, I want to just give some shout outs to resources that I'm using. First, the music you're hearing is by David Feslian, and at feslianstudios.com he creates songs and sound effects that you can use. That's FESLIYAN studios.com. And also I'm using Mike Dane's 4-hour YouTube tutorial, and he's the founder of Giraffe Academy. So I'm using his tutorial on my phone. So yes, let's get to learning. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos and you want to learn more C++ with me. Alright, thank you for watching. You are amazing. Okay, so I've done a bit of code already during break at work, so I'm going to just run you through this real quick. One thing I do, and I don't know if this is best practice, but I do this just to make the code cleaner. I use header files. So like for my declarations, I created a using declarations.h file, and I'll show you that real quick. And that's just where I define these different these definitions, so I don't have to keep writing out standard cout. So then I can just write out cout instead of writing it out with the standard namespace. And also, but to make sure that this actually works, you have to include the using declarations.h in every file that will use it. Now, just recently I created the function declarations.h file. And this one is where I define all of my functions that are included in this program. I have them organized by data type, and these just are tied to within my main.cpp. So I'm going to just close these up because I'm not going to, I will just open them up later. Alright, so classes and objects in C++. First, what is a class? A class is used to create different data types that don't exist. Like, for instance, the standard data types are things like int, double, string, and things like that. But if you want to create a special real world class, then you want a special real world data type, then you want to create a class. So how do we create a class? So first you want to do class lowercase and then whatever you want it to be called. And most classes begin with a capital letter versus with your functions, which are usually in camel case. So what I did was I created a class named book because I want to talk about different books. So I made it public and did public colon and then string title, string author, int pages, and that's the basic of a class. Let me just remove this for a second. Alright, so this is the basics of a class. These things. Wait, let me put that back. Let me grab the whole thing so it doesn't make an error message. Alright, so these are the different attributes of this class. And a class is just like a blueprint or a skeleton. It's just like you building the outside of a house. So all I'm doing is saying within this book class, within this public book class, I have these attributes: a title of a book, which is a string, the author of the book, which is a string, and the number of pages, which is an int. You can put as many attributes as you want, but I'm just gonna put 3 following Mike's tutorial. So right when you first declare the class, you don't want to actually put anything in these different things. Again, these are nothing but like a skeleton. So it's just like you creating a box, an empty box. So there's an empty box for the title, empty box for the author, and empty box for the pages. Where you actually define what goes in here is later on in your main function. So let me just scroll down a bit, and right here, and this is where I specify what goes in the title, author, and pages that I created, those empty boxes in the book class. So how exactly do you actually create a book, a physical book? Of course, it's not a physical book, it's an object or an instance. So first I created book 1. This is an instance of the book class. It's an object with specific attributes. So let's say you have a Harry Potter book and you wanted to make it its own data type. So this one you can just do book, and that's your book class from up here. And then you give it a variable name. So I'll say book 1. And actually, let me just erase this. This is later. Something I'll show you later. Okay, so let me erase that. Alright, so book 1 dot title. Okay. Okay, let me just surround this in comments. This is something that I'll show you later. Alright, so let me go back because I went a little bit further in the tutorial offline. So let me go back and do it the same way. All right. Okay, so we have the basic structure, and So let me go back. Okay, so let me go. Okay, let me start from right here. So turn up the brightness. All right, so right here, let's start right here. So we have our public book class, and we have within it a title, author, and pages. So then I create an actual book. So we say within the main function, we have the book class, and then we have the variable name book 1, and then we just do semicolon to say that this book 1 exists. And this is an instance of the book class, and it's an object, and it has those specific attributes that we put into the class. So I have book of the book class, book 1, the variable, semicolon, and then I do book 1 right here, and then I do dot title equals Harry Potter. So then I do book 1 dot author equals J.K. Rowling, and then book 1 dot pages equals 500 pages. So that is an instance of the book class. And then if I want to make another book, you can do the same thing. Book of the book class, book 2 dot title equals Lord of the Rings, book 2 dot author equals Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien? That's not right. Anyway, book 2 dot pages equals 700 pages, and that's a fantasy. So, well, actually, so is this one. They're, they're long. All right. So, and then I see out book 2, the title of book 2. All right. So I'm gonna push F5, start with debugging, and show you what is outputted, which is the title of book 2, which is Lord of the Rings, which I've never read actually. And I've never seen the movie. What did you think of it? The book or the movie? I don't know. I'm not really a fantasy fan. I like sci-fi, which is not the same thing. It's really not. So, all right. Okay, so I have Lord of the Rings. I can have some green tea with some white tea extra in it. Okay, so now we've created a completely new data type called book. But let's say you wanted to change some of this information. Let's say you wanted to give it a different title. So I'm going to copy it and then change the title of book 1. And I'm going to name it Nixia. Alright, again, and that's Nixia by Scott Reinken, which is an amazing book. It's actually a triad, a trilogy. I'm on the 3rd book, and it's freaking amazing. I highly suggest that you go and read it. All right, so so if I printed out book 1 dot title, what's gonna print out is not Harry Potter. It's gonna print out Nixia because I changed it. So I'm gonna push F5, and you'll see that Nixia prints out. Because I am indecisive and decided to change the book 1 title. So we have Nixia. And this 12 is just different code that's running. The only thing that you're worried about is Nixia. Okay, so now let's keep going. Alright, so if you want to learn more about classes and objects, you just want to, as Mike says, work with creating real world objects, figure out how it works, figure out what the nuances is of the syntax and the structure and all these things, and just keep working on that. That way you'll get more familiar and you will be able to write them quicker and understand them better. This is just like, of course, it's the basics. There's a lot more to know, but that's the basic structure of a class. All right, so what next to learn? What to learn next? You can create like your favorite foods, or you know, something like that. Alright, so now we're going to create a constructor, which is a function within the class. And you create it like this, book. So this is a constructor. Alright, so this constructor is ran every time you create a new object or a new instance from this class. And it has the same structure as a function. So minus the semicolon at the end. So we have the two curly braces, but there is no semicolon at the end. There's a semicolon at the end of the actual class. So this will run every time we create a new object. So I'm going to push F5 to start with debugging and show you how the constructor works. Alright, so what I have is, before the actual code runs, the class runs the constructor. So it says creating object. It's because I created two books. So even though I didn't print out both books data, the constructor knows that I created two different objects. So, and that's how that works. And just a little offshoot, I know you're wondering, like, how'd you get this pretty blue output thing? All I did was I went to the header and right clicked and put properties, and all these different things pop up. You can change the screen text color, screen background color, options, font, layout, terminal, all those things within this little area. Alright, so cancel, and there. I love blue, it's my favorite color, so yes. Though I do not have my actual Visual Studio with the blue theme. I used to have a really great theme. I'm gonna find that theme. Okay, so anyway, so now I created a little structure, which is again just a function within a class. Alright, so let's keep going. What else can we do with constructors? Alright, I'll be on for just a couple more minutes. And yes. Alright, let's see. Okay, so a freaking awesome thing about constructors. Variable book pages is uninitialized. Okay, so that's right here. So it's saying this int pages is that I didn't do like int pages equals 0 or something. I didn't initialize it, so it's giving me an error message telling me that it is not initialized. Alright, so I'm going to just initialize it and keep going. Alright, so like functions, this is a function. Because it's a function, the constructor can take in parameters. So I can do string name, and now I can specify that when I create the instances or the actual objects in my main. So we have the string name, and now I can print out name. Alright, so I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to then add that to here. So now it's giving me an error message. Why? Because I said that the book constructor can take in a parameter, right? But look, I didn't do that here. So I said all I did was say, oh, it exists. But I have to actually put in a string, a name. So I'm gonna put in Harry Potter. And then I'm gonna do a similar thing for the book 2. Put the parenthesis and then type in Harry Potter. No, I'm just kidding. Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. Okay. So now I'm getting all that nice unerror messaged code. Non-error? Anyway. Alright, so when I run it, pushing F5, it will then so then now it's printing out a lot of things. So let me just go through this real quick. Why this is showing so many things is that at first I printed out the name of whatever is in the book function, because the constructor is taking an argument. So what happened was because it printed out the name, it printed out book 1's Harry Potter right here, and then it printed out book 2's Lord of the Rings right here first, because that was called in the constructor, and then because I also said print out the book 1 title down here, it also printed out Harry Potter right here, this one. So let me just change this to make it a bit less confusing. I'm going to the book 1.author. Alright, so, and I'll run it again. Let me stop debugging and do it again. Alright, so just to make that a bit clearer. Alright, so now what's happening? Let me just, okay, cool. So, first printing out the book 1's past value, Harry Potter, right there. And then the book 2's Lord of the Rings value. And then it's printing out the book 1.author, which is J.K. Rowling. So that's what happened. Alright, cool. So that's constructors, the basics, but we're gonna do we're gonna do some more. So let's see. What else can you do with this constructor? Of course, there's a lot more to do. This is just the basics. But now you have a start. And I have a start. Alright, so now I want to erase this stuff. Let's take it back to where it was. Alright, so now we're going to look at how to get rid of the the sheer level of work it'll take to make different objects. All right. And so when I let me just pause. So when I just remove those two parentheses, I turn this back into a variable declaration rather than a function. So that's what happened there. All right. So okay, cool. So back here. So now, okay. So to make it easier to create these objects, there's something we can do with constructors, because like let's say you're a huge bookworm, and let's say you wanted to catalog all the books in your bookcase or in your Kindle or whatever, and you got like 800 books. It'll take forever. It won't take forever. That's an exaggeration. It'll take a long time to make that many books, book objects, right? So you have to specify the title and the author and the pages and the publisher and whatever else every time. So book 1.title, book 1.author, book 1.pages, blah blah blah. And then book 2.title, book 2.author, book 2.pages, blah blah blah, 2. And so it would take forever, right? So there's an easier way to do it, which I'm gonna learn right now. Let's see how to do it easier. That way you can do all these things and just do it faster and easier. Alright, so what we're going to do with our constructor is we're going to, instead of manually writing all of this code, these 3 lines, well these like 4 lines, especially these 3 lines, we're going to initialize these variables, these data within the constructor versus separately like this. So let's say you have, because you're doing the same thing, all you have to do is change the data. You don't have to keep saying the same thing, right? So in the constructor, we can do this. Let's see. String. Alright, so what we did was just like in other functions, we declared different arguments within the book function. That way we can pass it values from the main function. So Mike does a lowercase a and then variable name, so uppercase. So a title, a author, and a pages. And for him that means that a means argument. So it's an argument within the book class. And it's not mandatory for you to do it that way, but that's the way that Mike Dane does it. So you don't have to name it this way. You can name it whatever you want. So let's see what else happens. So now that we have these arguments within our function, we can now do I'm going to push Control D to save myself from having to copy this and paste it. So Control D, and that'll do this. It'll just copy the previous line. So I'm gonna do author equals a author, and pages equals a pages. All right. So what that just says is the title, which we specified down here, is equal to the arguments that we passed in the book constructor, in the book function. So that way we can specify, all we have to do is write down the data of the title or author or pages, and that will automatically populate versus having to keep writing book1.title, book2.title, etc., etc. List goes on. Alright, so right here we're seeing the red squiggly line. And everyone knows, just like in class, red is bad. It's not bad, it's beautiful. But in this case it is bad. And also, see, great thing about Visual Studio is I have an error here, but look at my preview. There's big old red rectangles telling me you've done something wrong. So that's really helpful when you're writing your code, because you don't have to look around for error messages so hard, because you have the red rectangles right here, you have the red squiggly line right here, and also you have your output, your error list, which will also tell you something is wrong. So Visual Studio is made to tell you that you are wrong. And that's fine, because then you can fix it. So, and the error message actually is, no default constructor exists for class book. And the code is E0291. So that's the actual error message when I did not put, I didn't specify the values that I declared when in the book constructor. So because I'm missing these, the title, author, and pages, and I never defined it down here in the main, it's giving me an error message. Now, I'm not sure why it doesn't just say you didn't put in any arguments. I don't know. The error messages can be tricky, you know. So, but yeah, they can be tricky. Instead of just saying there's no, well, I guess there's, because there could be many different errors, but this one is, you know. This one is just, I didn't put in any arguments or parameters. Arguments, I think. Yeah, so really what's going on is that I didn't specify any data. Alright, so let's do that. Alright, so now that we've passed in the data, we can get rid of all these three lines because we've already done it. We've just done it differently and more efficient. So I'm going to do the same thing for my book 2. And right, because these are just a title, a author, and a pages, which we also set equal to the title, author, and pages. And that way we saved ourselves a lot of time and a lot of code and a lot of it's just better, cleaner code this way. and it gets rid of all that redundancy. And 700 pages. Okay, so now it will be a lot easier to create new books. And there. So when we print it out, as we did before, F5, you'll see that the same thing prints out before, except now we only have 2 lines of code. And we have J.K. Rowling. Oh, sorry. That's right. I changed it. Title equals blah, blah, blah. Let me do C out. C out. What did I have before? I had the what did I have before? I had the title. So I'm gonna print out the not here. I'm gonna print it out underneath this code because code goes from top to bottom. So I wanna assign these first and then print it out. So I'm gonna print out the title. All right. So I should get the same thing, and this will print out the title for each instance or each object. And then later on, it'll print out book1.author. I believe. Yes. Okay. And then I'll just say book1.author. J.K. Rowling. F5. So I should be getting Lord of the Rings. Oops, I have this wrong. No, hold up. It's wrong. J.K. Rowling did not write Lord of the Rings. Okay. Copy. Let me just switch that. I mean, I know that it's just, you know, nothing like data that's not accurate. It's inaccurate. All right, so Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, Lord of the Rings, Tolkien? I think it's Tolkien. 700. Okay, so now I'm push F5. We should be getting Harry Potter, and then Lord of the Rings, and then J.K. Rowling. Yes, so Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and then J.K. Rowling. Perfect. So this is working properly. And now you can specify all your 850 books. I don't know why you would do that, but you could. With a constructor and a book class, or a phone class, or whatever class you want. So, cool. Okay. Okay, so just like before, we can still change the data. We do book, no, I did it wrong. Book 1 dot title equals, what is it? The vacancy, which she wrote as with the pseudonym. The vacancy, and this will print out the book. This will change the title when you print it. So instead of calling Harry Potter, when you output the title, it'll call the vacancy. I believe. No, it won't. I did it wrong. That's not right. Because Harry Potter is here. Wait, hold on. Okay, no, sorry. Yes, that's right, but it's not gonna call it right here, and because that didn't work, because I didn't get the vacancy because I'm outputting the title. I'm printing it out related to the constructor. So it's only looking at what's in the argument, not what I just put down there. So if I wanted to print out the new book 1 dot title, I would do book 1 output book 1 dot title outside of the constructor and within my main. So now this will print out. It'll print out Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and then it'll print out, because of this one, it'll print out the vacancy. Vacancy. Alright, so now that'll work. Because I'm printing this out outside of the constructor. And now we'll get Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and the vacancy. Okay, so cool. But I'm just gonna go back to author because I like that better. Alright, cool. So I'm actually gonna just get rid of this. Okay. Okay, so let's say you want to create a book, and let's say you want to create another constructor. Let's say you want to create another constructor in your book class. You can do that. You can just do this. You can create the same thing but a little bit differently. So I'm just going to, you can do book to create the book constructor, parenthesis, and then curly braces. And a difference between this function and a function outside of a class is that one difference is that functions outside of a class. Wait a minute. Oh, no they don't. Okay, sorry. Functions do not end in a semicolon. Okay, scratch that. I said earlier they don't end in a semicolon. No semicolon. Okay, so functions, all they have is all they have is the curly braces with no semicolon. Okay, cool. So there's no difference. So if you want to create another book constructor, you can just do book, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, curly braces. Now let's say with this book constructor or this book function within the public book class, you don't. So let's say you don't want to specify a title, author, and pages. So you can do it like this. So you can do title equals no title. I'm going to push Control D, author equals who cares, and pages equals 0. I mean, that's like literally not a book, right? They wrote nothing and it has no title because it's just in their mind. So what you can do then is, this is an entirely separate constructor. So let's say you want to create another book. Let me just, okay? So you can do book 3, this, and then just do a semicolon. So now all this is all you did was declare this book 3 from the first book constructor. So this one doesn't have to take any arguments because you have 2 different book constructors. So this book right here with all these arguments is referencing your second your second book constructor, but book 3 is referencing the first book constructor that doesn't take any arguments. So if we print out book 3 dot title, alright, so oops, here it is. So all this is a declaration that the book 3 object exists that's part of the book class. So if I printed out the title of book 3, it's just gonna be no title. And that's what's gonna be printed out. And we have no title right here. Alright, so let me just comment out this right here, 2 forward slashes. That way it won't print the other titles, the Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. Let me F5 again, and then all I get is no title. There we go. So, and of course if I print out the book 3 dot author, that'll print out who cares. So yes, that's the basics of how this works. And I'm just going to put this back in, and yes. So, and then another thing that we can learn is okay, so this kind of constructor is most commonly used, but and this second one is just so according to Mike, your users can have multiple options on how they want to create a book or whatever it is. So they can either create it with no arguments, or they can pass in title, author, and pages. So cool. This actually will be great for this will actually be great for my Android app that I'm working on called Your Tricky Words Helper. which I have a list of words, and they're all right now they're all printed out separately. But using this constructor and these classes and objects, I can now make the code a lot cleaner. So that's all I have for classes and objects today. I will upload my code to GitHub and 12 Months Game Studio, and then I'll be getting off for the day. Code, already created file 2.6. Should have a placeholder. No. There's already code in here. Alright, this was code that I created yesterday. But I believe this is the code from yesterday. I'm just going to 2.6.22. Okay. And I'll paste the code here because yes. Alright. So added a book class that takes arguments, simplifies creation of objects, also created a book class, class that doesn't take arguments. Working code. Alright. And commit new file. So, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell if you want notifications of new videos. My name is Ashleigh Bonner, and I'm the founder of Electric Egghead. Later.